Small steps are still steps in the right direction. I've heard it, and I have to keep reminding myself that people do not care what you're doing. Once you start to do little things that you notice you normally would get nervous or scared for, you start to feel really good.
Welcome to the Alyssa and Julian Podcast.
I'm Alyssa, and this is the Alyssa and Julian Podcast. That's probably the weirdest intro I'll ever do. I am by myself today. I posted an Instagram story on our, I think it was the Alyssa and Julian Podcast channel, or Instagram, and I said that we were having some timing issues. Julian had a lot on his plate, a lot he has to do, so it was either have me in a single episode or skip this week. I think we just currently skipped a week, so I kind of didn't want to skip another week, but if we had to, we had to. It was either me by myself or have us skip a week. And a lot of you voted that having just me on an episode is okay. So here we are with that episode. So we're going to run it how we normally run it. I'm going to tell you my intention of the week. I'm going to tell you streaming platforms, and then we're going to go into our topic. So my intention of the week, it's so weird because I'm talking like single. I don't have a back and forth conversation going on. So my intention for the week is that I actually want to record more videos on my personal channel. If you aren't subscribe to me on YouTube. My Instagram, my YouTube will be in the description below. I recently posted a life update Q&A, if you will, about where I've been, why I haven't posted, plans for posting, all that type of stuff. We talked about a bunch of different things because I asked for questions on our Alyssa and Julian Instagram, and I just kind of answered those, so it kind of varies between what we talked about. But I just posted, from when you're hearing this, I literally posted it a couple days ago. From when I recording this, it was literally yesterday, and it's kind of going crazy. I'm glad you guys actually missed me. It makes me feel good. It makes me really want to come back. And I'm pretty sure I said that the last time because you guys always show so much support and love on that channel, even though I'm really inconsistent, but it's much appreciated anyways. But that was so much fun. And also, if you follow our Instagram accounts, I recently posted on the Alyssa and Julian channel once again that we are doing merch. We have another merch launch coming, I think, from when you're hearing this, in like a few days. Like, we post this on Monday. I think we're launching it on like Thursday. So get ready for that. I have to finalize that. I have to go through a couple things with Julian, but that is coming so soon. I'm so excited. So those are my intentions. Get ready for merch. Get more videos ready, edited, uploaded, all that stuff. Streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music. I guess I have to say Google Podcast today because Julian is not here to say it. His role. Google Podcast, anywhere you find your streaming platforms, or go to YouTube, type in Alyssa and Julian. We come up with podcasts, we come up with reactions. We're there on many occasions. So today's episode, I feel, is kind of ironic in a way. So I had this episode planned of, the topic was going to be stepping out of your comfort zone. And I have a few things on this. I thought it was going to go really well with both Julian and I, because I can tell you I'm not the type of person that's going to step out of their comfort zone. But at the same time, here we are on a solo podcast episode. Like, how crazy is that? I'm definitely nervous. I don't know how you guys are going to like this. Hopefully it's okay. I was really scared to do this. I didn't want to skip a week, but if you guys said to skip a week so we could both be in this episode, I wasn't honestly going to be like too upset because I was like, I'm so scared. I don't want to do this by myself. Oh my God. But at the same time, I'm actually really excited to do this because this podcast is my baby. Like, I love it. So to still be able to do the podcast and be uploading a podcast episode for you guys is truly amazing. I love it. I love that I like overstepped whatever boundary I had to get myself to record this. But at the same time, I was also thinking that since I said I'm not one to step out of my comfort zone, I know Julian is. Julian does almost every day, I swear. There's definitely something during the day, every day, that he's stepping out of his comfort zone for. So I thought it'd be interesting to go back and forth and hear, I guess I'm holding a pen sorry. I thought it'd be interesting to go back and forth on how he does it, I guess, why I don't, or what I think I need to do, but why I get scared, like that type of situation. But today you'll be hearing my side. I'll be sharing my difficulties with this, I guess. I had a first little bullet point for this. Basically, I guess can tie into what I just said about doing this episode alone. I had being too nervous or scared could be a good thing. I feel like being nervous or scared to do anything means that you're stretching yourself. You're putting yourself past your limits, past, I don't know how else to describe it. It's really the limits that you're setting for yourself. I know with certain things like this, doing a podcast by myself would never be in the question. I would never say that. Okay, that's a lie because I definitely do want to start a podcast by myself, but I haven't. So doing this episode, I feel like doing it with Julian is a whole different scenario. Like, I'm not as nervous because I do a lot of things with him. We have the reaction channel. We do his videos. He's been in a couple of mine when I have posted on my channel. Doing stuff with him doesn't make me as nervous. It kind of depends on the situation. Doing the podcast has been just a regular thing for, honestly, the last year. If you guys saw, I posted a story that it's been a year since we've uploaded our first Alyssa and Julian episode. Honestly, that's kind of mind-blowing to me. But for the last year, I've been doing this with Julian. We've been doing YouTube, the reactions, since 2019. 1, 2, 3, 4 years. I had a math in my head really quick. 4 years I've been doing that with Julian. He's posted a couple reactions by himself, but I haven't gone that far to post a reaction to make sure you guys had one of just me. It's usually been him, us, or we haven't uploaded. Like, there's been days where we just haven't uploaded. There's too much going on, family stuff, something comes up. There's been days it's just, sorry guys, no videos. I've never done anything just me, except for on my channel, but I feel like that's different. Oh my God. Yeah. So I'm kind of stretching myself past the limit I had for myself of actually sitting here, doing this alone, overcoming the whatever fear I have of doing things by myself, because not only is it just recording this podcast, I feel like doing a lot of things by myself is a really, I don't know, fear. I don't know another word of besides fear for me. I don't know what it is. I just get scared. I get nervous. I don't like to go alone. I don't like to do things alone sometimes. Depends on the situation, I guess. So I was really nervous to do this. Julian helped me set up our usual setup and then went to go do what he had to do. JJ is currently sitting in our bedroom in his pack and play watching Mickey. So he probably hears me talking and is like, who the heck is she talking to? Why is she not talking to me? Sorry, buddy. Love you. But yeah, I don't know. I think stretching yourself could be good because it makes you sometimes overcome what you thought you were scared of. Like, honestly, sitting here doing this, I'm not as nervous anymore. I'm hoping it's still going to be a good episode for you guys, definitely. But sitting here, we're getting a little better. I think the reason I don't like to step out of my comfort zone is because, honestly, comfort zone, like, I'm comfortable. I don't like to be uncomfortable in situations. That's definitely one of the things I'm not a fan of. Like, I don't like to be uncomfortable. If I'm uncomfortable, I'm not okay. Like, that's definitely something I have to get over in some situations. Like I said, going places by myself it should be easy. It should be okay. But I don't know. I just don't like to do it sometimes. But you got to do what you got to do. I feel like I've mentioned this before. I am also not a big person of change. So I feel like that's why I get uncomfortable. If there's a lot of change happening, if there's a lot of change going to happen, especially if I'm directly involved in something. We had talked recently, I forget what episode it was, but we had talked about how I wasn't a big fan of change, but for some reason was in that moment of if we had to get up and move. I forget what the topic was, but we had talked about if I had to just get up and move. For some reason, right now, I'm for it. Like, I'd be so about it if we had to, like, for some reason be like, okay, this is the plan. We had to move to blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, let's go. Normally, I'd probably look at you like you had 6 heads and be like, what are you talking about? Like, I need more time. I can't know last minute. I need to plan. I need advance notice. I can't do that. I feel like, I don't know if you heard that. My phone just went off. I asked Julian a question about the camera, but I figured it out. So now he's probably answering me, and we're already like 10 minutes in on this recording. And now I forgot what I was saying. Anyways, I don't like new things. I don't like new moments. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of especially super big change. Little change, I could probably get over if you give me a little bit. Big change, no, it's going to affect me directly. Like, little change like this, I'm doing a podcast by myself. I'm over it. Like, we're doing it. We're in this. We're already having a conversation here. It'll be okay. Moving normally you'd have to give me a little bit to adjust. I'd have to check out my surroundings. For some reason, I don't know what it is. Right now, I'd be down. I'd be like, let's go. I'm already packed. In case you said this moment, let's just do it. I like to stick to, like, routines. I don't actually have, like, routines set up, but just little things I would do during the day if I was off, or at night when we have, like, certain, like, come home, dinner, record reactions, edit reactions, that type of stuff. Normally we have certain days of the week basically set up without saying how it's set up, if that makes sense. We know this day we have to do this, this, and this by this time, so this is how we're going to map it out. I don't know. Having routines and, I guess, standards for the day kind of make it a little better. It's just kind of what I need in my life. I need structure, I guess I would say. I probably even shouldn't say routine. I should say structure. That makes a lot more sense. I need structure in my life. Wow. It's kind of all hitting me as I'm, like, having this conversation. I feel like I'm kind of having a conversation with myself and just speaking out loud, and I'm kind of noticing some things. Anyways, getting out of your comfort zone, I feel, can start with something super small. For me personally, I can run to this corner store we have. We've run there a couple times when Julian wants, like, soda, but I don't feel like going to the store. Like, if I'm not grocery shopping, I could just run there, grab a bottle of soda, maybe like a snack or something, and come home. Like, I honestly don't even have to move my car. I could walk. It's a block away, if that. So it's really not that far. I feel like going there, I've done it before, but I've also not dragged, but like dragged Julian along with me. I'd be like, yeah, let's take a walk with JJ. It's a nice night. And I kind of make up little things to make it sound like it's a good idea, but really like I could have been home with the time that I'm begging him to go with me. Little things like that could be the start of me getting out of my comfort zone, I would say. He definitely, I'm going to roast him. So not roast him, basically roasting me, I guess you would say. He definitely gets so annoyed with me because of the fact that I do this. Like the fact that I can't do these little things by myself, because for any normal human being, it would be a no-brainer. Like this would be nothing. This would be basically probably like an everyday life. Like you wouldn't even think twice about going. You'd be like, okay, I need this. Okay, I'll be right back. Like you wouldn't even bother a significant other if you're living with them. They'd be like, hey, can you run to the store? And you'll be like, oh, I'm not really feeling going to the store. I'm just going to walk there really quick. And they'll be like, okay. 5 minutes later, you're back. Yeah, no, for me, it's come with me, come with me, come with me, come with me. And then eventually 30 minutes later, when I could have been there back and like doing a whole nother task, I'm still sitting here like, okay, I guess I'll go by myself. I'm trying to basically talk myself into it being okay, if that makes sense. I don't know. I have little problems here. I know. You don't have to call me out on it. I already know I have these things. But I feel like starting with something small is still a step in that direction. Like what you think is small, like for me, that situation, if I were to just one day be like, yeah, let me just run here really quick. I'll go by myself, blah, blah, blah. It'd be a small step for me. And like personal goals are little achievements. You feel me? I feel like if I decided to do that by myself, especially one day, I'd be so proud of myself. Julian would actually probably be proud because he'd be like, wow, you did it by yourself. I feel like kind of being sarcastic, but kind of not at the same time. Small steps are still steps in the right direction. I don't even want to say coming out of your comfort zone is in the right direction, but it's a step in a good direction. I would say it's a good direction because stepping out of your comfort zone is a little personal achievement. It's something you thought you would never do, but here you are pushing yourself out of it, even if it's the smallest little step. Like if you just barely stepped over the line, you still made it out. Like you're still out there. So I'd say it's a good step. Yeah. Biggest thing I feel like I've also had to tell myself, definitely multiple times, because I feel I don't believe this sometimes. I don't know. I probably overthink it. You know, when you go out in public, you don't know half the people you run into. You probably don't know. There could be times you don't know any of the people you see. You might have seen them before if you're grocery shopping. You know, you grocery shop at the same place all the time. You see the same people. You don't actually know them. So the thing I know I have to tell myself 9 million times is people, and I feel like I've heard a lot of YouTubers say it in videos when just anytime. They could say it literally anytime. They don't have to be doing a sit down video. They don't have to be explaining one certain thing. I've heard it, and I have to keep reminding myself that people do not care what you're doing. And what I mean by that is take YouTube, for example. I'm not the most comfortable with YouTube. I will sit, when I did that Q&A, if you saw it on my channel, I was in kind of a public place. I was sitting in my car, but it wasn't like it was just me. There was a lot of people at the place I went to record that Q&A video. A lot of people that can walk by my car, look at me, see the camera, see that I'm talking to myself. People were parked. It's like a spot you go, and there's like a bunch of parking spaces because there's houses, there's restaurants, there's like a waterfront that everyone goes to. You're not parked super close. Like it's not like I was actually parked directly next to someone, but there's cars a couple cars down. Like they're not so far, so they could probably hear me talking. They probably think I'm talking to myself, especially if I'm doing something like this where I'm just continually talking. I'm not really stopping, and you don't hear anyone answering me, I guess you would say. It had to take me a little bit to kind of get used to it. By the end of that video, I kind of loved it, and I loved that I was able to do it. I loved that I pushed myself to do it, even though there was people there that definitely stared, like not stared, but like saw the camera. Like was like, oh no, never mind. I can't do this video. Oh no, I can't do this anymore. I finished the video. It is uploaded. So the biggest thing I have to tell myself is people will look at you and see what you're doing. And if they saw me talking to a camera, not that they would necessarily probably understand in the moment what I was doing. YouTube isn't the first thing to cross a lot of people's mind, especially in the couple like generation or two above me. They'll probably question it in their head. They'll probably give it a weird look. They don't really know what's going on. I guarantee you, in the next 30 seconds, give it a minute, give it 5 minutes, they won't remember what you're doing. They won't remember that they saw you sitting there talking to your camera. They won't remember maybe the next day that you did that. One little thing might like trigger a memory, and they'll talk to their kid or their grandkid being like, oh, I saw this lady, blah, 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 sitting there talking to the camera. What was she doing? Like, you know how grandparents ask their grandkids, like, what is going on now when they see people like dancing in front of their phones, like making TikToks, and they'll be like, what are they doing? What is the thing going on nowadays? What are you kids doing these days? Yeah, that's probably what they're going to do. And I have to remind myself that they might look at me, and even though me being me, they'll look at me a weird way, give me a weird look, and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Like, why am I sitting here doing this? They're judging me, blah, blah, blah. They might be judging me for like 3 minutes. After that, it really doesn't matter. They're probably not even going to see that video. They can't come back and comment being like, oh, I saw you doing this. Like, this is so weird. Why would you do this? It really doesn't matter. Like, it won't last long. I'm telling you, it won't last long. I can tell you, like, you know you do it. You know you people watch. You know you see things in the moment. You're like, what the heck just happened? Oh, what is this guy doing? Oh, he's such an idiot. Oh, she's so weird. She's doing this and this. And oh, look at them making a TikTok over there. We've all done it. We've all sit there and we've judged. You can't deny it. I guarantee you, think of something you judged yesterday. I can't even remember. So it took a day for me to forget about something I saw yesterday that in the moment I was probably like, what the heck is going on? Or what is this? Why would they do that? Oh, I could never. It's gone. The memory is gone. Granted, if you know, you know, I don't have the best of memories, so it's probably not much from me. But, you know, certain things stick in your mind. But it has to be majorly important for it to stick in your mind. And the fact that something so small that you want to overcome, I guess, to get out of your comfort zone could be that minor. No one is going to remember. Just do it. Do whatever you want to do. Do whatever you have to do. Get out of your comfort zone. I can tell you right now, me recording this podcast by myself, literally, I don't live in a house. Like, I live in an apartment. Someone in the next room over can probably hear me. I don't know how thick these walls are. Honestly, probably not that thick. Anyone walking through the hallway right now? Because there's a lot of apartments in this hallway. Someone walking by the hallway can hear me talking if they walked by my door. I'm not being the quietest. I'm talking how I'd probably normally talk when I do a podcast with Julian. There's not a lot of noise in here because I'm recording. I can hear I don't think you guys could. I can hear the TV from what JJ is watching right now, but like I said, you guys probably can't hear it, so it's not super loud. So they can hear me talking. If I was so worried, I actually was worried at first. I was so scared to do this. I'm not even going to lie. I was telling Julian when he was setting it up, and I was like, I'm so scared. I low-key in my mind overthought it a little bit, and I almost was like, no, we'll just skip. Like, I don't want to do this. I'll just wait for you, blah, blah, blah. No, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I need to do this. I want to do the podcast. I love doing the podcast every week. I know we recently skipped a week. Like I said, I don't want to skip again. I want to record this. I'm so excited. So we're just going to do it. I literally sat here at first and was like, whew, okay. I thought of ways of how I was going to start this. I didn't know if I was just going to be like, I'm Alyssa, you just get me today. I honestly thought of like having a weird like introduction where I was like, I'm Alyssa, and like had a little pause and then been like, pretend you heard Julian's voice, you know, something corny like that. I didn't feel like being that corny, so I started it regular and just explained that I was by myself. But I don't even know where I was going with this rant. But anyway, I know people can hear me probably across the wall. I know people can hear me in the hallway if they were to walk by. I feel like if I was super scared and nervous, I'd probably be talking like this. And this whole podcast, you probably wouldn't even hear me, or Julian would have to help me do a lot of editing to get you to hear me. But I took my baby step. And here we are. You get a podcast this week. It's probably not going to be the longest one because I'm not going back and forth with Julian. And I don't really have a lot to say about this because of the fact that I don't necessarily do it on my own. But I thought we could sit here, have a little conversation on little tips and tricks of how you can do this. But I feel like my problem with also stepping out of your comfort zone is I'm not good with I could say I'm very insecure. I probably wouldn't normally like to admit that, but I will to you guys. I'm definitely a very insecure person. I feel if I see judgment or feel judgment, I get very scared and like to hide in like a little bubble, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I've noticed it takes a little bit for me to kind of come out of a little bubble, but I've noticed after I start like this episode, after I start to do little things that is normally out of my comfort zone, I start to feel really good. Like it's such a weird but good feeling because I feel like it's a little bit of like pride almost. You get very excited for yourself. When I posted the video I posted the other day, the Q&A, I was so excited. I was so excited to tell Julian that my video's done. It's going to be up tomorrow. When I got home from work, the day it was dropping, I actually forgot about it. I forgot that it was going up, and then I like 10 minutes after I posted it, I was like, oh my God, my video went up. I was so excited. Once you start to do little things that you notice you normally would get nervous or scared for, you start to feel really good, which I feel like is such a pro on trying to get yourself to do a little more than you normally would. I would say like it's a way to get yourself out of your comfort zone. It's a way to get yourself, I don't know how to explain it. Like sitting here doing this, knowing I was scared 20 minutes ago to start this episode, the fact that I am into this episode, I've had a whole conversation. I've literally done this by myself. It makes me feel super excited. It actually kind of makes me a little motivated to see what it would be like to actually have a podcast by yourself. I've listened to a few people that have their own podcast, and I've always wondered how they did it and how they would have the conversation. I honestly thought that it would be really weird because I feel like I probably did this episode, but I thought sitting here by myself, I would just end up rambling about things that wouldn't even make sense or didn't even go back to the original topic of this episode. But I feel like at the same time, that's kind of what a podcast is for. It's kind of to just talk about things, feel like you're talking to someone, or it's a way to get your thoughts out. Like it's kind of journaling, but out loud. If that makes sense. I thought I would just be talking and then all of a sudden be like, okay, bye. But it's kind of really fun. I'm kind of having a good time here. But I always told Julian that I wanted to always start a podcast by myself, but I didn't know if I'd be able to hold a conversation, if I would have to get better topics, if it would have to be something I knew I felt strongly about, or if it could just be any topic and I can give my thoughts, opinions type of stuff. I'm realizing that it's kind of different in this sense because normally I'm having a back and forth conversation with Julian. We're kind of both giving our little opinions and then kind of talking about something either one of us has said. But I feel like this is also interesting because it's also, this is actually, I've noticed something out of my comfort zone is what I'm going to explain. It's kind of not training, but it's kind of making me think harder than I probably would during an episode because I don't have to just think of things myself. I could be going off of something Julian had said and like go from there from a conversation. So it's just kind of rolling on. It's kind of making me have to think to have a conversation by myself, if that makes sense. And I can tell you, Julian could tell you, he definitely tries to get me to think more and be like, I don't know, a deeper thinker, I guess you would say. And now that I've kind of said that out, I feel like that's kind of amazing for me. I'm not to toot my own horn, but I don't know. Now that I don't really have many other little points for this kind of topic, but I feel like I want to motivate people to try to step out of their comfort zone, to do that little thing you're scared to do, to try new things, which I can honestly say I'm probably not the best person to tell you that. It's kind of a little hypocritical for me because I could tell you I still struggle with that, but I am trying to take little steps to do those things. I'm doing this podcast. I just uploaded a new video. I have another one that I want to edit. I'm actually kind of feeling like going to edit it after this episode because like I'm that excited. Like I'm so excited to put things out for you to see how you react to certain things. I know if I see, I don't even want to talk numbers. I don't even know what a low number is because I don't post that much. I feel like if I don't see what I thought a video would do right off the bat, like I'll probably get a little discouraged. But it's all a test. It's all trial. It's all fun and games. You're going to put something out. Okay, these people might not like that. Now you know what kind of content to make for your audience, if that makes sense. If I see that this episode doesn't do too well, it doesn't have the best reaction, you guys are like, okay, well, you kind of didn't make sense. You're kind of just rambling. I'm sorry if I am. But then we know next time if we can't both be in an episode, we're going to skip. It's not just going to be Alyssa. I could say, listen, they didn't like me the last time. They don't want to hear from just me. It's Alyssa and Julian. I need you there. We'll just have to plan to both be in an episode. I'm super excited. I can tell you guys doing this episode, I want to thank you in advance if you do like this episode for kind of pushing me to do it because I did do it for you guys and it made me really excited and I feel like I kind of accomplished something. Love you guys. But honestly, I think with that being said, we're going to jump. We still have a question of the week. Don't think I did this by myself. We're not going to have a normal episode. We do have a question of the week. So with this topic, I feel like I've kind of already answered this myself, so I'm just going to see what you guys say. Leave a comment down below the answer to this question. What's something out of your comfort zone you've always wanted to do? I want to know what you guys are scared to do. I'm scared to go to a grocery store by myself, low key. But I mean, I do it, but like, I don't know. I don't know if it's anxiety. I don't know if it's social anxiety. I don't know what it is, but just being there by myself, I feel like I'm being like watched or judged. I don't know. It's the smallest thing. Drives me crazy. I don't like to do it. Honestly, these days, bringing JJ makes me feel so much better because I have someone with me. It's so weird. I've told Julian this before. I'm like, he barely talks. He barely can answer any of my questions, but like, I'm going to pretend that he can have a full conversation because I have someone with me. Honestly, that can kind of entertain me because I get kind of bored. That might be my problem, is that I get bored alone. I don't know. Let me know what you have always wanted to do. Maybe even why you're scared to do it. We could have a conversation. I'll give you some tips, tricks that I have, and maybe we can help each other overcome whatever we haven't accomplished. We can both get out of our comfort zones. That'll be fun. That'll be cool. But with that being said, guys, I just said I'm going to have a normal episode. I am going to end this one a little different. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, whether you watched it or listened. Leave a comment, answer the question. Let me know how you liked it. Leave a review, 5-star review, please, on anything, on whatever platform you streamed this on. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully we'll both be back next week in a whole new episode. But we love you. We'll see you then. Bye.